Hello, everyone. How is it going? I'm really excited to have a good friend and a mentor to me, Jentrey Potter, here doing an interview. Hey, Jentrey, how's it going?
Hey guys, hey, how are you, Heather? It's awesome to be here. Sorry, I'm like all over the place today.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to have you on. Um, and Gentry's going to share some great information with us and some really practical resources and, you know, ways of looking at life that I think really make a difference. Especially talking about this idea of success through failing. And Gentry has a book that's coming out. She is a
Yay!
co-contributor to this book. Yeah, super exciting. Um, and I'm going to go ahead and write something real quick. But if anyone has any questions for Gentry, go ahead and leave a comment below. And yeah, so kind of what got you involved in this project and what's the main message behind this idea of succeeding? Sorry. Okay, what's the
Success through
title?
failing. Gotcha.
Success through, I was like,
It's all
failure through
good.
success.
Success through failing. I know. It takes a couple times. It's okay. So it's really
Yeah,
interesting
success
because
through.
it's a really awesome title, and there's actually 25 women who are co-authoring this book. So it's a really big project. But what is really cool is I had actually started writing my own book. This was probably in August, and I got stuck and I couldn't figure out what was going on because I already had most of it written down. It's an experience that I share from my 90-day healing journey, which is later to come. But I had a friend who came to me and said, "Hey, I am co-authoring this book. You need to be in it." And I said, "Wait, I'm writing my own book. Like, I don't, what?" And then I
Yeah.
realized as I talked to Wendy Bunnell, who is the collaborator of all of this project, that this was the reason why I was getting stuck in my own book. And it's an amazing project, again, with 25 women who are across the country, and even two women from Africa, who share their experiences from anything from sexual abuse, divorce, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, getting out of really bad relationships, failing at business, failing at parenting, just really anything and everything that happens to us as women and as moms and as business owners and all the things that we go through in life, and really getting vulnerable. There's some really hard stories that are shared in there, but really important stories, vulnerability and courage and truth, because as you probably know from all the work that I do on Facebook with my live videos, I feel that it's really important that we own our truth and we speak our truth because it gives others permission to do the same. And it's not about shaming other people as we're sharing our story. It's hard to be careful of not shaming others in the process, but still honoring ourselves. And I've read, I think now 20 chapters in the book of the 25, and these stories have just blown me away, and I know that they will really touch a lot of lives, whether you're a man or a woman. They're just stories that need to be shared and need to be heard. So it's really more than just a book or a project. It's a movement of society that we have had in the past, where we're shaming and we're judging, and we're changing that. We're moving forward and owning our truth and getting rid of that shame, because we don't need that.
Right. No, we don't. So I think this is a little bit of a new concept for a lot of people, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we think of failure as this like stopping point, like almost like we're being
Yes.
with, I want to use the word damned. We're being like damned, like because we failed one
Right.
time, then that's it for us, right? And I
Right.
think that is a really misconceived notion that we have. So what are some examples from your own life or that you've seen of how people can actually succeed through failing?
I think the common thread that was in all of these stories is that, as we're in the muck, we don't necessarily see it as success. Obviously, we feel like complete failures. We feel like, we're doing everything wrong. We feel like we're at the bottom. But then as time passes, we realize later that, you know what, this is something that we need to own, and it's okay. And, there's a lot of fear, and even still, like, getting this message out, like, I know myself and the other authors, it's like, okay, this is still really raw. This is still really scary. But I know for myself personally, and I can't wait to hear from some of the other authors a little bit more as we do this book summit on, how they really got the courage and were able to muster up the courage and the faith to push through that fear, because it really is like this barrier. I think we all have felt that multiple times in our lives, where we feel like, there is this brick wall in front of us and there's no chance of pushing, through it. But as we muster up that faith and that courage and trust in our higher power, and what I like to say is let go and let God. When we really let go and we, attach to our higher power and link arms with our higher power, we're able to bust through that wall, and it changes everything. And it gives us that power that we didn't know we had. And we're able to not only bust through that wall, but many more after that. And it's a continuum. And it's not like we're ever done and we've got it all figured out and we're all perfect successes now. But it just gives us that, okay, we can do it. We did it before, we can do it again. And it also, like I said before, gives others permission as they are in that fear of, oh, that person went through that divorce or through that abuse or that addiction or whatever it is. Maybe I can do it. So it's really a groundbreaking, because it's, like you said, it's not something that in society is kind of the norm. Like, oh, it's no big deal. Talk about all your crap. We want to hear it all. And it's not like we're doing this to, bash on anyone. It's really actually to liberate others and ourselves, and to also create that open path of forgiveness and opening up those closed doors that may have been slammed shut through some of the negative experiences that came through these failures. So yeah, there's so many layers, I think, to the onion. It's like peeling them back one by one. And this, I think, is a project that is like, here's the full onion. Here we go. It's all coming out.
That's great. I love
it's really exciting.
Yeah, I really like the diversity that sounds like the story, that the book shares and entails. And there's something to be said about that courage to keep going and to try again and again and again. I know for me personally, one of the biggest things I had to get through was the rejection letters from agents. I started off as a writer 10 years ago and had a very frail, little ego. And really had this big dream, but to get over 120 rejection letters, it nearly broke me and made me wonder if I even had it in me to be a writer, or if I just thought that I might have talent there and there really was nothing, if I just had this misconception about myself. So I really had to dig deep in those moments and be like, I love doing this, whether anyone likes it or not. And I'm just going to keep going with it and keep going, keep going, keep going. So that really speaks to me. And you're right. When you choose to keep going, it kind of builds momentum. You become kind of invincible. You're like, I did it. Just like you said, that I did it, and I will do it again, and I will do it again. And if I could succeed way back then when I thought I was done, then I can get through this next challenge as well. So
definitely.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about how you also coach people with this idea and kind of the life transformation work that you do.
Right. Actually, my story is from overcoming sexual abuse. And hard people want to avoid, and people don't want to talk about it, right? And that's really what started my journey of, really looking at who am I and how am I showing up as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. At the time, I wasn't running a business, and this is actually what brought me into wanting to become a health coach, because I realized that I did not like being the zombie mom that I was. I didn't realize how depressed, how anxiety ridden, how, fatigued I was. I was kind of just floating on the surface. I wasn't really there and present. And so I realized, there's something to this. And actually, my whole journey started about 4 years ago, and really figuring out, okay, who am I and what do I have to offer? Of course, I'm a mother and a wife first, and that's always my priority. But I knew that there was something else that I was supposed to share. And there was a lot of fear with that because people don't want to talk about sexual abuse. They don't, all that's entailed that with pornography addiction, and that's my focus necessarily as a coach, but that's kind of where my journey started. And I've since realized that, when it comes to health and nutrition, most people are looking for this quick fix diet. And they're looking at it as, okay, I'm failing at all these diets and none of them are working. What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? And what I've come to find is that it really has nothing to do with the food. As important as food is, don't get me wrong. I definitely don't say, hey, go for those Doritos and those ding dongs. No problem. That's not what I'm telling people. But it really is looking at what is the root cause? Is there something in your past that is holding you back, that has kept you from loving yourself, from, making your self-care a priority, and later, becoming self-empowered? And that's really what I advocate for, especially for women, because I think that, whether you're a mom or you're single, you're working, you're staying at home, whatever it is, we really beat ourselves up and we really get stuck in those things that happened in our past, whatever it was. Or maybe it was just something that, our peers told us in school and elementary school. I mean, it can be a really little thing or it can be a really big thing. But those things tend to define us. Unfortunately, we allow those things to define us. And so, what seems like, oh, I just need that diet plan or that lifestyle change as far as food goes, it's so much more than that. So I actually look at 12 different areas that affect your overall health and well-being. Yes, nutrition is part of that. Yes, your health and your physical activity is part of that. But there's 9 more areas that can actually have a huge effect on your health. And often society ignores that. It can be related to your relationships. It can be in relation to, your career. It can be related to your financial strain. There's so many different areas that can have an effect on your ability to really love and care for yourself.
Right. And we have a little so. I guess Barney lost its interest for a moment. Right.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think that mental, emotional work is, 80-90% of the battle. That's definitely been true in my life. Yeah. So speaking to that rather than the rest of it's kind of surface. It's important. Like, sorry, just a minute, Kate. But yeah, definitely getting through that. So I'm going to leave a link on where people can get your book, which is being released February 2nd with the book summit. There's a summit and actually an event, which is the 4th. And where does that take place?
So that's taking place in Sandy, Utah. The collaborator and many of the authors are in that area, but we also have some coming in from Africa, which is so exciting. And I'm coming from Denver. We've got a few people from different areas that are coming in to really just share this message of hope and healing and really just breaking down those barriers and knowing that you have success. You have what it takes to, and success is defined in so many different ways. It may not be the traditional idea of, having this big corporate, job or, being a celebrity or whatever that looks like. There's so many different ways that we can define success. And that's really the whole point of this book and this message. So yeah, that'll be February 4th in Sandy, Utah. And you can register for that. The book is actually out for pre-sales on Amazon right now. So I can share that with you afterwards and make sure everyone gets to pre-order the book on Kindle. And then the hard copy is available on February 2nd. And then, yeah, you can actually, the other exciting part is you don't have to go to Sandy, Utah if you're not nearby. So for all my Denver friends or anyone in the world who's watching this, you can actually watch a portion of that summit on live stream. So we're going to be live streaming about 3 hours of the event. So it's going to be something that you do not want to miss. If you feel like you are struggling in any area of your life right now, this is definitely a message that you need to hear. So
yeah, beautiful, beautiful message. Love it. And then I'll also include link to your coaching that you're going to be launching in about a month. Am I getting that right? Yeah, about a month.
Right.
So
yeah. So this is the first that I've announced. So I have been working on a 12-week program that covers all those 12 areas that we look at. I've actually been working on this for over a year. So I've done a beta group with this on a local level, and have been doing a lot of things to, get this book out there and get the program out. So you guys are the first to hear about this program, which is pretty exciting. I'm putting it online as a group coaching program. So it's going to be awesome. And I'm capping it at 30 people. So there's very limited availability, but you guys are the first to hear about it. So I think you've got the link there for people to pre-register. The actual program doesn't start until February 21st. So I'm actually launching that full launch from the stage at the summit, the Success Summit that we're doing on February 4th. But if you know that this is something that speaks to you and you are wanting to just really vamp your health and your lifestyle, then go ahead and pre-register, because it's going to sell out fast. So pretty exciting.
It is so exciting. I love it so much, Jentrey. I just resonate. My soul speaks to this kind of work, all about empowerment and transformation, progression. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on and doing this with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's so fun to be interviewed. I'm usually doing the interviews, so this is fun for me.
Fun to be Yeah, it is.
Yes.
So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And I will leave all the links below for everyone watching. And I invite you to subscribe or follow Jentrey. And if you're new to me, then I invite you to follow me as well. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much, Jentrey.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.